Hello, race fans. Welcome to another episode of Short Track Guides Podcast, brought to you in part by Story Bleich Roofing. We've got you covered. Metal, slate, tile, and asphalt, shingle. They're locals you can trust. Right here in Pensacola, Florida. That's Story Bleich Roofing. I'm your host, Thomas Spadish, alongside two other short track guys in the studio as always. Jim Pokrant, driver of the 07 Can'tQuitFishing.com sportsman and 2021 sportsman champion, and Ted Baber of Ted Baber Video Productions. What's up, guys?
Good evening. It's a wet evening, but, with Story and Bleich, you stay dry.
It is.
That's it. I can attest to that because my roof is a Story and Bleich roofing roof, and it's dry as a bone in my house.
A little blatant pluggage there, but, whatever.
Amen to that, brother.
Yeah, it has been a little Florida weather, but it will dry up, and we'll get back to our daily routine here just in a little bit. We do want to bring up, don't have really much to talk about in our backyard, but it is coming down 38 days now. The big one here in our backyard, the Snowball Derby. Just a reminder, everybody, November 17th, the Miss Snowball Derby pageant, downtown historic, Seville Quarter. Get in touch with FiveFlagSpeedway.com for more information on how to get involved with that. It's a big deal. November 18th really kicks it off with the Snowball Derby preview. The late models, both Super and Pros, Outlaws, Modifieds, Pro Trucks, Sportsmen, Pure Stocks, the Crown Stock 30 that day. There are entries coming in every day, but we might have a little bit of something in the garage with that Sportsman, Jim.
I'll just taking her all apart and making her faster. We got to find about 0.3 of a second. So I just took the front end apart this past week, and I got little Chris Cotto going to do a little work for me, and then I'm just going to Ben Cranford's, and then we'll be ready for practice. I got to hang a body and everything, so we're going to try to make it pretty. Do something for the veterans again this year. I hadn't done a veteran paint scheme in a while, so it's time to do the old red, white, and blue and thank the people, our first responders and our police that take care of us. So it's going to be a fun Snowball Derby. I'm looking forward to it. Gotten all the negativity gone, and we're going to have some fun this year.
You're gonna what have you gotten up your sleeve for that practice at all?
Go fast and turn left and try to find some speed. No, I want to try to find some speed. We need some long run speed. We're good early, but we fade a lot. So I'm going to try just bring 2 sets of old tires and just run them to the cords. That's my game plan.
Everything you do, make a little adjustments here, a little adjustments there. See if it makes it better, makes it worse.
I'm bringing rear springs this time. I got some ideas. I done talked to John Ruth, which I got to thank him for all his setup help. He builds my shocks and everything. But we're gonna try something different. We're gonna see if we can't get that car to turn in the middle because that's where we're losing. We're good in, we're terrible in the middle, and it makes us terrible off.
Throw the changes at it and see what happens.
That's right. And if it gets better, great. If it don't, I'm going to be hanging on for 50 laps.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yep. November 18th. That is the preview. We'll have a Crown Stock 30, and we've got a big day. It's free of charge. You go out there and watch some racing and some practice, getting ready for the big one in December. So 38 days away. The Snowball Derby entry list is growing every day too. We've got 2 of them that we can mention right now. Andrick Dimayuga from Mexico and Dalton Armstrong are teaming up with Water Motorsports. Richie Waters has brought some cars with the likes of Stephen Wallace one time and a few others, and created some history and some excitement during the Derby week, I must say. They've got some more Matt Craig, William Sawallich, Chase Burden, all those guys. They're coming in every day, and they're listing 3 at a time now for the Snowball Derby and the Snowflake, and we'll keep you abreast on that. But I just want to mention they are from Washington State, from Maine, Florida, out in California.
Canada
We have Canada and Mexico now, so
Canada.
They are pinpointing all 4 corners of our country and then some.
Always do, man. That race always brings everybody, the baddest of the bad, to Pensacola, Florida, to spend a week at the Snowball Derby.
I'm waiting for one from Alaska.
I don't think they got any asphalt tracks in Alaska.
Well, make some adjustments.
Yeah, underneath all the ice.
Yeah. Might have an isolate model to come down or something. I don't know.
Well, and the big one, Winchester 400, we've got a brief little entry list, and as we had spoke last week, we were expecting a 26, but I don't see him on the entry list. We do have some big names that we just mentioned that were in the Derby entry list, but I don't see the Bubba Pollard is listed. I think he's put that car away for bid, waiting for the Derby to maybe put that Tom Dawson trophy in his cabinet.
He's described that before. He doesn't care what it looks like at the end of the race as long as he's on the front stretch first.
That's it. We can tear the fenders off this thing. Let's just win it. You know what I'm saying? Checkers or wreckers.
Yeah. And it looks like Andrick and Dalton with that Richie Waters motorsports team going to be there in the Winchester 400, which is actually part of that ASA Stars National Tours, a marquee race here coming to the end of the season. And they put all three of the CRA series, the Southern Super Series, all together. And, well, it's going to be a big event, and we'll have results going over that next Wednesday, and that is the Winchester 400.
Good race. Going to be a good one. A barn burner for sure.
Yeah, there was another one. Let's see. A guy by the name of Gabe Summers came away with a victory this past weekend, actually. We had touched on that last week.
Yeah, it was the Oktoberfest 200. Gabe Summers kind of, was in the top 5 running the whole race, and Dalton Zier took out Ty Majeski late in the race and wrecked both of them, and Gabe slipped through, and so did Johnny Sauter. Well, Johnny Sauter suffered from mechanical failure, and Gabe Summers went on to win the race. A young man by the name of Ty Fredrickson, which we want to talk about him. He finished 3rd, but the reason I want to talk about him is his dad's Dan Fredrickson. Yes. And this young man has come a long way. He stayed out of trouble in that race and drove a great race and finished in the top 3. That's pretty dadgum awesome for him. And I may mangle the name here, but Sire Keski is the guy that finished 2nd. Never heard of him.
No,
never heard of him. But he ran up front, stayed out of the trouble. I mean, Dalton's here flat dumped Ty Majeski. If you haven't seen the video, you can look Racing America. That's pretty rough.
That was ugly.
Yeah, he didn't bump him, he didn't rub him, he wrecked him. And wrecking ain't racing.
Nope.
No matter what Harry Hogg says.
he pulled the Chandler Smith on him.
Well, actually Chandler did, yeah. But I'll tell you what, man, that was a great race up there at Oktoberfest.
La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway.
La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway, Wisconsin. Man, Wisconsin, we were just talking about that before the night started. Man, Wisconsin's got a lot of great racetracks.
They do.
La Crosse, they got Slinger, and 4 or 5 other great, well-known short track asphalt tracks that put on a show every year. And they all have big races.
Yeah, Madison, the Dells.
All of them.
Wisconsin International.
Yeah, I mean,
it goes
how
on
can
and
you,
on.
I mean, how... And their late model fields are always huge.
Yes.
And just like that Sire Keski guy, never heard of him, but he runs 2nd.
Yeah.
Here they come.
And then Ty Fredrickson, congratulations to him on his first podium finish in a super late. But, man, I guarantee we're going to hear from him a bunch. Yeah. I'm sure his daddy's probably fixing to put the helmet on the thing and put him in the car. Maybe. We'll see. But pretty awesome. Great race.
Yeah, as we touched on last week, too, as well, the 61st Sunoco World Series up there at Thompson, another classic track up in the Northeast, actually not in the Midwest like we were talking in Wisconsin, but this is up in Connecticut. Ronnie Silk and Justin Bonsignor, man, you might as well put gloves on them and put them in the ring, because it seems like every modified race they go to, they're beating and banging, and Ron Silk ended up coming up with that NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour win, but... They had a couple of modifieds in there that tried to mix it up, but those two didn't want to have anything of it.
Well, if you want to watch a good race, watch one of them modified races. You talk about using up bumpers, son, and Nerf bars. They will bounce off one, and the thing about it is they'll bounce off each other and keep right on strolling like there's nothing to it. They'll put the bumper to each other, so good racing there. I mean, that's considering the modified tour as well as many races as they run every year. The ground pounders. That's all you can say.
Fun to watch.
Amen.
Yeah. Well, we've got big races coming up this weekend. We will touch and get with that next Wednesday on episode 10 with the results on that. Winchester, we look forward to seeing who comes out on top of that with the rifle. Now we've got the grandfather clock, and then we've got the still, and now the rifle. Now Winchester. We can't wait to hear that. And while we're just kind of on a movement here, we have a very special guest with us that's on the phone. He's been in our plans for a long time here. We've met him about, unbelievably, about 2.5 years. Right. He's been on here 3 times. His name is Christian Rose, a growing star, and even bigger now than when we first got in touch with him, with an incredible story. Christian is from West Virginia, in Martinsburg, and I don't know how to explain it with the story that he got started and where he is now. And he's been on the phone with us, listening to us gibber about other races. But we've got some big news with Christian on the phone. Christian finished third this year in the ARCA series, the pool with AM Racing.
Yep.
Got a full-time ride and ran some truck races. We're going to talk to him. He's been on the phone, and I'm going to introduce him, bring him in our studio. Christian, thanks so much for taking the time out. And we've got some questions, and you can ramble on and tell us all about what's been going on with that stable of yours.
Yeah, I mean, I really do appreciate it. I mean, it made me kind of raise my eyes. I can't believe it's been 2.5 years since the first time we talked to each other. But I mean, that's pretty dang cool. And as always, I appreciate you guys letting me come on and talk racing with y'all. But yeah, I mean, it was a really good year for us in the West Virginia tourism Mustang. We've had partners with STS, Steve and Sarah, that whole deal, and then Disability Opportunity Fund, and LabWorks has come on board with us. So we've been very blessed and fortunate, and very fortunate to work with such an incredible group with AM. So the third at the points this year was a good one for us. We came up a little short from second, but I think at the end of the year we were finally hitting our stride. It sucks to, be running as good as you are at the end of the season and finally, hitting things right, and then all of a sudden, year's over. So I think we finished third and fifth in our last 2 races. So, but overall, very blessed, and again, just appreciate coming on with y'all.
You're definitely on a roll as far as making improvements in the finishes. I know that. And from what I understand, you're one of the only people that has run every single lap in that series. That's amazing, considering the schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool, man. We, obviously there's some luck that goes into that with the super speedway racing and some of the places we go to, but very proud of leading the series in laps completed this year. And that was a goal of ours coming in, and very proud that we were able to knock that off this year.
Well, it shows consistency. Good crew, good driver. Obviously, you keeping things in hand. That helps a whole lot.
Well, man,
absolutely.
Well, let me ask you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just agreeing with him. Go ahead.
I was going to say, did you think the first time that you climbed in that late model and you got out in that test that you ran, and did you think you would end up where you are now? I mean, did you have any vision that someday you'd be running up front in the ARCA series? Because the ARCA series isn't no joke. You're running against some guys in that series that are serious competitors. It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, no. I knew where, I dreamed of where I wanted to be. And I had no idea that I knew how hard it would be, especially with, trying to secure funding and everything, and where we started out and how late I started in racing, but never thought I would be racing, like you said, against guys like Andres Perez and Jesse Love and William Swalich, and, the talent that is in the front of that field. Those are guys that are going to go on and do special things. So to run with them, and then to have a full-time ride and be with AM Racing, and, see the vision that they've laid out. And, they just brought Haley Deegan in to the Xfinity program. And that I never would have in a million years thought that this is where we would be. And things are looking very good for the future with us in a lot of ways too. So just the big man upstairs, God's got a plan. And I would have never believed it back then, but I know he had a plan all the way. So hopefully we'll stay out of the way of the plan and just let him work.
Absolutely.
That's it.
He knows what he's doing. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, how's the family taking up with all this? Traveling with you, or staying at home, communicating back and forth? Everything seems to be in gel.
Yeah, I mean, Brooke's been amazing, and River's 9 months old now, so it's been crazy. I haven't got to have them on the road as much as I'd like this year, but Brooke just finished up school in the summer, and she's been going through the credentialing side of what she needs to do to. She accepted the job, but there's a whole process with the medical field on credentials and how long it takes. So she stayed home a lot with that this year. But next year, I think the plan is for her to be out there on the road with us a lot. But they've been so supportive, and it's so cool to get a video or something after the race when we're getting ready to fly back, and it's her and River sitting there watching, the race. So things you would have never, like I said, even when we first talked to you guys, never would have dreamt of meeting such an amazing woman and starting a family with her. It's just been an incredible year. They really sum it up.
That's awesome. Well, let me ask you this. How cool was it to climb inside a Craftsman Truck Series this year and race in the upper 3 echelons of NASCAR?
Yeah, I mean, that was really cool. That was my home track. Only grew up about 2 hours from there. So I went to that race as a kid a lot, and it was very special, very nerve-wracking because, I mean, I knew it was the cutoff race, right? It's the last race before the playoffs started. So the goal was to go run all the laps, didn't matter where we finished, just run all the laps and also try to not impede anybody was trying to get in for the championship. I think it's 10 or 12 in the truck series, and just try not to affect their race and go run ours. And we did that. And I'll tell you what, the most fun was we did a green flag stop. I came down, smoked the tires coming into pit road, didn't speed, executed the pit stop perfect, and we had fresh tires. And it was the most fun as a race car driver you'll ever have is when you got new tires, they got old tires. That cycle was cycling in and out, and I mean, you're just blowing people's. We passed Ty Majeski on he's on old tires, new tires, but either way, it was cool as hell to pass the guy.
I bet.
So those are all cool things, and then most of the race we were racing with Stuart Friesen there. So got us won races on that series. To be trading positions back and forth with him there was pretty cool. So pretty special moment, and we're going to make another start in the truck series to finish the year off out at Phoenix. So very much looking forward to that coming up for sure. Yeah,
I see that's on the schedule on the 3rd of November. That's got to be interesting to see the difference between with a driver's standpoint in the truck and from what you're used to running the entire season. One that I can see you've got the advantage of been in these tracks before and getting in the truck experience, going to some of these tracks that you've already done and win the ARCA series. What's the comparison between the two, being a driver in the cockpit with that, as far as the controls go? I'm pretty sure the communications maybe be the same, but your strategies are different. The look's certainly different, and the speeds are different.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing that I noticed was that they drive pretty similar. I mean, you got obviously more downforce in the truck and everything, but the motor package and the transmission, everything's the same. So it's not terribly far off. The biggest thing that I noticed for myself is, like, you're watching a truck race, and if you can run, 5th to 8th in an ARCA race, you jump in the truck and you're tongue hung out running for 30th. I mean, it's like it's a whole step up on a talent level, just with how good those guys are, and it's, that's an eye opener. Those guys they'll race you as hard as you do in ARCA for 30th. So I mean, it's pretty cool to see the talent and how hard it is, and that's what is exciting about being a competitor, is wanting to get as good as those guys. And I guess going to Phoenix is one I'm looking forward to, because I've got 3 races under my belt out there in the ARCA platform. So I know that track pretty well, and I think we'll be pretty decent out there. And the biggest goal, like I said, in that one's just stay out of the championship force way. Don't be the guy that causes a reason for somebody to win or lose the championship, and put our hats on and at the end of the race, knowing we ran all the laps, and move on to 2024.
Well, what's next? I mean, do you have any solid plans for next year?
I know we'll be back with AM. We're talking about coming back and running for a championship on the ARCA side, and then kind of spread out. I think you'll see us a lot more in a car outside the 20 races there. I don't know which races exactly, but I will be in AM stable, and very happy to be building a home there with those guys. But I'm excited, because I think you might see me in a late model, and you might see me in some dirt stuff too. So outside the ARCA stuff. So very excited to get back in that kind of roots and stuff. Well, now that you opened that door, is there any chance you might be at the Snowball Derby this year? Not this year. I would love to. The plans just didn't work out for that this year. Next year, I think there's a possibility you'll see us down there. I would love to, and that's something I want to circle on the calendar to have an opportunity to come down there and do. I'd like to get a little more experience, because I know how hard it is to, in a pro or super, go down there and qualify in. And we want to come down and not be fighting a scrape for 30 if we want to try to lock ourselves in on qualifying night.
Yeah, it's the toughest Friday night anywhere. Is getting into that race.
Absolutely. You're not kidding on that. It's fun to watch. I tell you what, you turn flow on or whatever. I'm biting my nails watching, a 1/10 of a second between 10th and 30th. I mean, that's just absolutely nuts. That's crazy, isn't it? I mean, that little old racetrack, it's tore up and everything else, but it tends to put on a heck of a show. We'd be glad to have you. And if you would, save a spot on that car if you bring one for a Short Track Guys podcast sticker. We'd love to put one on there. Love to run it, man. Love to run it. Absolutely.
Well, we know your passion is racing now. but we know that grassroots is baseball. So when would the next time we see you on the mound throwing an opening pitch?
Well, this year we were fortunate enough to get to do the Cleveland Guardians. We did the Cannonballers, and we did the Charlotte Knights. So pretty cool to get to do those games. A dream of mine would be to go do the Orioles game. I'm really hoping that's something we can do at some point here, even though they frustrated the heck out of me this past week. But I knew going into the playoffs for those guys, they were young, and if there's one thing I told all my friends and that we talked baseball with, it's like they scare me being all 25 or younger, because the playoffs are just completely different from the regular season, and that's what got them. You got to find a way to stop the pressure and the crowd, and if you can't shut them down, then they'll get to you, and they sure did. So very happy to watch that team all year, but hopefully that, long story short, hopefully we can go to Baltimore and throw that pitch next year.
Well, we look forward to that. I mean, we've got all the pictures when throwing the first pitch, and none of them hit the ground. I think all of them went across the plate for, a strike or two.
They're in this vicinity, I'll say that. I might have airmailed one or two, so just knocking the rust off, but told them I need a bullpen next time before we go out and throw one.
Well, throughout this whole process, from starting to finish, from New Smyrna to now what's going to be your last race of the year at Phoenix in the truck, has there been a moment either in the race or beginning or the end or somewhere down the line throughout the season that something in your head clicked? Like, okay, yeah, I got it. This is what it's all about. Yeah,
I'd say the dirt tracks when we got to them is something I really took to this year, and we were pretty good. I'd never been on dirt before, and we qualified fifth in my first race. Out qualified Kenny Schrader, which was really freaking cool. To look behind you and see Kenny Schrader starting there. We were probably the second or third fastest car on the racetrack when we weren't overheating. Had a bit of an issue on that side, but it seemed like that was the race to kind of open the door. And then from there, we went to Kansas. We finished sixth there, which was a career best. And then we went to Bristol and ran inside the top five the entire night, which the year before we were like a 25th place car. So to go from that to run inside the top five, majority race is really cool. Brought it home eighth there, and then went on to Salem, which is one of the hardest tracks on the circuit, and put a podium up for third, and then fifth at Toledo. And I've never been the best at short track racing. The bigger tracks have been where I've had a lot more success. So that last 4 or 5 races, I'd say from the dirt race, the light bulb kind of went off for us. We're really close. Like when you went back and looked at the lap times, we'd run as fast or faster than Jesse at times on the racetrack for 4 laps in a row, and then I'd miss a lap by 3 or 4 tenths, just trying to do too much. And that's kind of the next step, is kind of just when we're good, stay good. You don't have to be better. That's kind of, I think, the next step for us, but or for myself as a driver. But I'd say that, and then the cool moments for the year was putting that thing out front at Daytona this year. Leading laps there in Charlotte was really, really special. So now we're good enough to run third. We know that, and hopefully next year we'll go stack some trophies up.
There you go.
That's what we'd like to see, man. And maybe if you come nearby here, we'll have to come to the next ARCA race when you get close down this way, and come see you run an ARCA race. That would be cool.
Oh.
Heck yeah, well, I want to, if funding allows it, to get back down to Pensacola and run that race. That's one of the most fun places I've had inside of the ARCA car. It's worn out, and it's fun to get around. So if funding allows it, that's one I'd like to come back to, hopefully in the spring for y'all next year.
Cool, that will be awesome.
Well, we've talked a lot about the racing side, but there is another side to your story, your career, and that's working with charities, especially one that I'm seeing right here. It's called the Disability Opportunity Fund and Racing for Stride. Are you going to carry on with those groups?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a blessing to work with those guys. It was pretty cool. We're the first driver ever to put our car in the middle of Times Square, and that was because of those guys. So that was really, really special to do that. Overwhelming from a boy from West Virginia to be in the middle of New York City with this race car. That was a new story for me for sure. But we partnered with them and Nine Line Apparel to give away a truck to a wounded veteran. Wow. It's going to be a F-150 that'll be gutted out to whatever their disability is to give them here in the next couple of weeks. And we just did launch with those guys a ride along with us at Phoenix, where fans or whoever can you pay $25 and your name will be on the deck lid of the truck out there riding with us, and all that funding goes back to the Disability Opportunity Fund to help our wounded veterans on that side of things. So coming from somebody from a military family and friends in the military, it's a really special opportunity and way to get back, and in many more ways than one through racing.
Well, I can appreciate it because I've been there and done that, got the T-shirt and the hat. I'm a veteran myself, so I can understand. I appreciate it a whole lot.
I appreciate the service. I do. Without you guys, especially with what's going on nowadays,
yeah.
You know, we couldn't race and do anything without those guys and what you guys have done. So I do appreciate your service.
Well, thank you much. It is my honor to do that, too.
Yeah, my dad was a World War II and a Korean War veteran, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of my paint schemes were veteran paint schemes. The hood always had each branch of the military, in the back of the car always used to say, support our troops. And I changed it a little bit. We're going back to that. I'm also putting a thin blue line on the car to support our police and our EMTs, because without them, we're in trouble too.
Absolutely. I mean, that was one of the coolest things for the year for me was my grandfather's a World War II veteran, and he was a pilot in the Air Force, and we ran his name on the right side of my car at Charlotte, and we were leading that race with 3 to go on a green white checker. So it was pretty cool they shouted him out and put a picture up of him on the broadcast. So that was a really special deal to kind of honor him and all the men and women that have laid the greatest sacrifice down to allow us to just go play with race cars, man. And it was very small and minute to the ones that have given it all for us. So that's the stuff that really hits home, and that's been the best part about working with Charlie Harriman and the Disability Opportunity Fund and Nine Line Apparel is getting to hear those stories. And it's going to be awesome to see that person's face when we get them that truck here in a couple of weeks.
That will be awesome. I'd like to see that myself.
Yep, that's pretty cool, man. I'm glad y'all do that.
Yeah, as a hometown boy from Martinsburg, Virginia. Played college baseball at University of Maryland, Eastern Shore. He makes a career out of a passion in racing right now. He loves giving back to youth organizations and all the organizations, and it's become more of a business now than it is just a race car driver. And it sounds like you've got it all the way around. You've got it all taken care of, and we've been keeping up with you throughout the first episode, and it's just an amazing story where you started and where you are now, and we're excited to know that you're going to be at Phoenix in a truck. We can't wait to put it on the big screen and get our shirts out and root for the hometown boy in Martinsburg, Virginia that we know so well, and I don't know what else to say, but we look forward to having you back on. Guys,
absolutely, I can't wait.
Yeah, man, and we do appreciate you calling us and contacting us, because that's been really big for us, and we appreciate it. And I know it's big for you, and you just keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing an awesome job. We're proud of you, and man, we root for you every time.
Well, I mean, I appreciate you guys, and like I said, I thoroughly have enjoyed coming on the show. And whenever you guys want, give me a shout, and we'll come on and talk some racing and whatever else. I mean, I've had a blast with it. So thank you guys for doing the show, and thank you all for giving me the outlet to come on and speak about what we're doing.
We appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
Yep, Christian Rose, driver of the number 32, West Virginia AM Racing, Secure Testing Systems, Ford Mustang, third in points this year in ARCA Series. Christian, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time out, and we look forward to getting with you again soon. And much luck, and we'll be keeping tabs on you.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you guys next time. Have some fun, and then good luck to all y'all down there that are going to be running the snowball. I know it's a tough one, and hopefully we'll be seeing some good results for you guys here soon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you, guys.
Well, that was Christian Rose. Christian Rose, the driver of the ARCA Series, and man, I'm telling you, episode 17, Racing Has a Rose, episode 1, season 1. Episode 17, I'm sorry. You get a little bit of an insight where it all started, and you get some fill-in about where it is now. I know the wins are coming for that 32 team.
Oh, yep. Started off by breaking through a fence to get into Daytona. That's such a neat story.
Oh yeah, and then climbing the late model, running just as fast as B.J. McLeod was in his own car. It never sat in a race car before. That's really cool. And not only that, but that gentleman has finished in the top 5 and the top 10 almost every race he ran this year, completing more laps than anybody else against the Love machine.
Right.
I mean, look, Jesse Love's all over the map right now. He's running late model races. He's running here, running there, got money coming out the butt. And this guy here is staying with him. And we just don't give up, Christian. You keep digging, brother, because somebody's going to look at that guy and say, he's got talent. We need to help him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to get you to the upper echelons of NASCAR, dude, because we would love to come to a cup race and be in your pit area cheering you on, man.
See, I know that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I can see a full-time truck ride coming from him, you know, in the near
so.
future. If not next year, maybe 2025. He'll be up there winning races, and we'll be a part of it.
Yep.
So, episode 9 in the books, season 3. It's hard to believe it's almost 3 years now, going on 3 years that we have spent many Wednesday nights here laying down a recording on our Short Track Guys podcast. Jim, Ted, and I, we appreciate all our listeners, appreciate the sponsors.
Yes.
Thank you, Story and Bleich Roofing, for providing us a little avenue for us to continue doing what we love to do and talk about short track racing, and you guys being involved. And man, it's just it's a Wednesday night fun.
That's it.
It's a blast.
And Story Bleich Roofing, we will be back with a Crown Stock Driver of the Week next week. Of course, we had an interview with Christian Rose, so it's pretty awesome. We really thank you for sponsoring us, and great job on my roof. Like I said, if you need a roof, I'm a happy customer.
One another satisfied customer.
Yes, because I don't sit with hearing water drip all night long.
It's a little scary.
Yeah.
Well, until next Wednesday, we can do an all together 1, 2, 3, and we will do our famous sign off that we probably need to trademark. Okay, ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
1, 2, 3.
Let's go, Brandon. Good night, everybody.
Be strong, America.
Thanks for listening.